You're not afraid about death?
No. In fact, I almost feel good at the approach of death.
Why? You have a nice wife.
All that's okay. But you see, as you live many years, things take on a repeat. You keep seeing the same thing over and over again. The same substance, the same action, the same reaction. So you get a little bit tired of life. So as death comes, you almost say, okay, baby, it's time, it's good. So I know I have very little fear of death. In fact, I almost welcome it. There's no life, there's no sunlight. When you write, your words must go like this. Bim, 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 bim. Each line must be full of a delicious little juice, flavor. They must be full of power. They must make you like to turn a page. Bim, bim, bim.
I love Christmas.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Hey, hi, hello. It's your boy Nate. Change of scenery. I am back home for a bit for Christmas. Keeping it pretty chill. It's just been a lot of like family stuff, which has been super nice. A lot of catching up. Chill few days. Last night for Christmas Eve, my brothers and I, we went to see Christmas lights in the neighborhood. I mean, Korea's festive too, but most people live in apartments, so it's kind of hard to like decorate apartments with Christmas lights. But yeah, it was really nice just to see like houses again, just fully decorated with lights and fake Santas, fake snow. It's just a real delight. And it's weird to be back home. It's that thing where it's like, oh my gosh, how much have you changed? How much has home changed? I was at South Coast Plaza the other day, and so many people and so many different kinds of people. And it's just so interesting that like home is always such a trip to go back to, but grateful, I think. I think sometimes it's nice to reflect back on like where you come from and how you've come to be. That's a lot though. First day back. Yeah, literally landed on Christmas Eve morning and then sort of just did last minute Christmas shopping. Yes, I'm one of those people, y'all. One of those people. I still have to write like a bunch of Christmas cards and letters and stuff. But as far as book updates, okay, well, books are everywhere. Also, see all of this, not organized in any kind of way. It's just a mess. This concoction that I've made, it's pecan pie cold brew with gingerbread oat milk. Lots of flavors going on. I don't know what's going on here, but it's very cinnamony. I don't hate it. I think my taste buds are just really confused. But y'all, I truly miss like American grade stuff. I really do miss it all. Okay, books. On the plane, I did end up well, actually, in US immigration, LAX, I finished Lydia Davis's Essays 1. And woof, what a lot. a lot, because by the end, all of the last essays surround God, religion. I don't think Davis is religious herself. I think she's just interested in why some people devote their lives or their livelihoods to God, to religion, and she's curious about it. And because of her curiosity, she actually goes through history, goes through time periods, learns the difference between eras and epochs. Now that I say it out loud, epoch? Epochs. Eras and epochs. I think it's epochs. Yikes, y'all. I'll edit myself. But the difference between the two, and it's just interesting. I had this big thing, I think, in like a favorites video last year but the idea of like context and making sure you understand the words that you use to. Yeah, what is the difference between an era and an epoch? Did you know an epoch is actually a short segment within an era? I did not know that. I am one of those people that Davis calls out where I didn't know the difference between the two. And I think words are really powerful, especially when you fully understand everything that you mean and say. And that's coming from someone who is still learning. I think also talking to the camera will always be a struggle. I never know what to say, really. I don't know how like actual vloggers do it. I don't know who I am, okay? Anyway, so that was really interesting, the way that she tackled her own misunderstanding and ignorance. The whole last half is just really strange because it's a mixed match of so many different things. It almost feels like essaic, but also you see her short story style. Everything that you learned in sort of the first 3/4 of the book and how she came to be and her writing style and her influences and everything. The last quarter is practice. And you see the ways in which she uses all of her different techniques in order to relay these like incredible essays written in her own fashion. There's also a little memoiric essay / short story about how she's 3 handshakes away from Abraham Lincoln. It's this idea that like who touched who in terms of like cordial meetings in the past, and them touching your great-grandparents' hands and your great-grandparents touching your grandparents' hand. And you know, do you get where I'm getting at? Really interesting. Also, y'all, I totally thought I had essays too at home. This was sent to me by one of my subscribers. Thank you so much. I carried this one all the way back home. And I also had a paperback of it still at my Korea address. And then I totally thought this was essays too. This was sitting on my shelf somewhere. And so now I have 3 copies of Essays 1, hardback, paperback, and in a smaller paperback edition. Lydia Davis has taught me so much about writing and taught me so much here. History as well. I think just also research when you're writing your own stories and even your own personal histories, just making sure accuracy is important. She mentions a lot that like accuracy is incredibly important when you think of context and history and again the concrete meanings of the words that you use if you actually mean them. Otherwise you don't need them, and then you have a better economy of your own vocabulary and the own usage of your words. Very fruitful. Also, I am reading Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum. This is so cozy. It's for book lovers and book lovers only. And for those who love just the entire coziness of a bookshop and being lost and trapped in a bookshop on a very cold day. And I think that's all of the thoughts, really. It surrounds this girl named Youngju. She opens up a bookshop and stories of her customers, what kind of customers come in. Right now, one's a writer, and I'm on a chapter right now where there's this guy named Songchu who has devoted his entire life to education. For the most part, that's how Koreans live. I mean, I know a majority of my friends, they devoted their entire livelihoods to education ever since like going to hagwons at like 6 years old, which is kind of crazy. Like an English hagwon. So they went to like an English preschool and started learning and how to do homework and all of that. And all of it was based, like their whole lives were based around education in order to get to a good university, in order to get a good job. Now, do they all have good jobs? I don't know. But a majority of them will tell you that like the education that they did have, though it was hard and tiresome, was it actually all worth it? Songchu in this story so far is questioning that. It makes you question like, how much time have you spent on like one thing and has it mattered? Ooh, big question. I don't even know if I want to get there myself. It's a loaded question. I mean, scary to think about, but like I've devoted all this time and energy to books. Like, has it been worth it? Yes, I will say that because I think I've mentioned it plenty times over that like the people that I've met, reading all the comments and even my own enrichment in the books that I've chosen to read and all the books that I have devoured? Yes. Yes, it has all been worth it. Has there been times where it didn't feel worth it? Yes, too. I know I won't be able to read all the books that I want to read in my lifetime, but I'm gonna die trying. Okay? I'm gonna die trying. And I hate also being that person that's like, oh yeah, I'll get to that title. I'll get to that book. And then never end up getting to it, and then it becomes a decade. I love books, and I find that they have a great deal of meaning to me. Waiting on subways, waiting in line, waiting for the light to change, waiting for a stoplight to change, waiting for friends, a bunch of waiting. Waiting to go to bed. Yeah, all of that too is devoted to reading. I'm gonna get dim sum in a bit, and like good dim sum, because I feel like Korea doesn't have like nice sit down dim sum, so I'm gonna do that, and then boba, and then just like have family time and chill. Stay tuned, follow along, love ya.
This is a different age. It's the atomic age. Each line must have its own power, its own feeling, its own juice, its own flavor.
Hey, hi, hello. It's about 8 in the morning. I just made myself my first cup of coffee. Home has been really nice, just super relaxing. God, you guys, I just brought this up real quick to show you, but this gingerbread oat creamer. God, I miss Trader Joe's so much. I'm so basic, y'all. Look at these little gingerbread men on there. This is so good. I love this so much. And then this is a pecan pie cold brew. My mouth is confused. I'm just like, there's so many flavors going on. But the American in me is just so excited by all these fanciful flavors. No major book updates. I'm still reading Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop. I'm 50 pages shy of finishing, so that's what I think I'm gonna do, is finish this before I head out. I'm gonna do some major city stuff and just visit all my favorite spots. We're going to the Geffen Contemporary at Mocha later today. There's an Oliver Eliasson exhibit going on. And then, yeah, just bits and bobs, y'all. Visit my favorite bookshops. This is like the one day that I kind of have just to myself, and like no family, no friends. Well, I am seeing friends later tonight, but I'm just like, sometimes I like that. You know, when I go on vacation, I just want that one day to myself, just to like visit all my favorite places, all these places that none of my friends really want to go to, but I want to go to. I make it my mission always to have that like 1 or 2 days. This trip around is just one day. Last night I did end up watching Noseferatu. No, not the new Eggers one, but the 1922 version of the film. And it was actually pretty good. Interesting. It's really hard to, but like imagine myself at that time watching a movie like that. And when I do, it's actually quite horrifying. First and foremost, it isn't so much about a vampire. It's more so a love story tied with a vampire narrative, but it's also more of the sphere of the plague. The plague, y'all, the plague. And that's really frightening, because then it's not so much like a zombie film, but something much like the fears surrounding a zombie outbreak and sort of, you know, mob mentality, every man for himself, running away. It's that. I understand the horrors of that. And for its time, I think quite a groundbreaking film. And it is actually quite frightening, the whole idea and monster physical acting of Noseferatu is really scary. Just like these giant bloodshot eyes and the shadows underneath them and these like really long grotesque fingernails and these hideous teeth. It is terrifying. In retrospect, there's like this scene where Noseferatu is like carrying a coffin and he's looking both ways before crossing a street. We love a safety conscious king. What I didn't know is that there's this major play on nature as well. Fears around nature and the unknown and desolate character and being lost in nature, I think is also really interesting because it's not just soil, but it's on the sea. Part of the story takes place on a ship in the ocean. And all of those things, when I think about it, makes sense for Eggers to adapt for this new film. I am seeing the new Eggers film at the TCL Chinese Theater, smack dab in the middle of Hollywood, for the new adaptation of Noseferatu. I have The Colossus by Sylvia Plath. Look at this. This is my vintage edition that I got at the Fort Mason book sale in San Francisco for $1. Still holds up. And then thanks to Knopf, they sent over Ecstasy by Alex Dimitrov. I've been wanting to get this collection for a while because I do follow Alex's Substack. I thought, you know what, let's do this too. Because I was thinking of like bringing this over to Korea, but I was just like, wait, I could totally finish this in like an afternoon or something. Yeah, just poetry for the weekend. I just feel like I'll be quite busy with people, so I thought these would be nice choices. All right, let's go. Follow along.
Each line must be an entity unto itself, but must carry its own, like a voltage juice. Tolstoy is supposed to be special. I go to bed, I read War and Peace. I read it, I say, where's the specialness in War and Peace? I really try to understand. I mean, and then many of the great poets of the past, I've read their stuff, I read it. All I get is a goddamn headache and boredom. I really feel sickness in the pit of my stomach. I say, there's some trick going on here. This is not true. This is not real. It's not good. You see, poetry itself contains as much energy as the Hollywood industry, as much energy as a stage play on Broadway. All it needs is practitioners who are alive to bring it alive. Poetry's always been said to be a private, hidden art, not appreciated. The reason it's not appreciated because it hasn't shown any guts, hasn't shown any dance, it hasn't shown any moxie.
What's up, YouTube? Here with another edition of Nathan's Nook. Click the link here to subscribe, and click the link here to unsubscribe.
Chat, what do we think?
Comment below.
Are you okay?
Poetry is generally very dull, very pretensive. Those who say the poet is a very private and precious person, I don't agree with. Generally, he's just a dumb, fuddling asshole writing insecure lines that don't come through, believing he's immortal, waiting for his immortality, which never arrives, because the poor fucker just can't write.
What's your favorite song? Like the biggest. Taste that concrete really quick. Let me get a spoonful of this.
Hey folks, we're gonna go watch Noseferatu. Ha, it's a spooky movie.
He's gonna be doing it on Nos.
Yeah, it's gonna be real nice.
Nathan's gonna be giving a live commentary about the whole thing.
Yes.
Stay tuned every second of the movie, exclusively on Nathan's notes.
Every second. Every second. There'll be a word from me.
You're giving Kevin Spacey post allegations.
Oh, that's the silhouette. That's Nicholas Holt. That's his prosthetic.
The writer has no responsibility except to jack off in bed alone and type a good page. For Christ's sake, do you have another question? Drink some more scotch, motherfucker. It'll cheer you up. Enjoy yourself, man. Forget there's an interview. I like you as a person, by